Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Reinvent with Accenture, the Consulting Mindset series, your guide to navigating today's modern consulting world. And I'm your host, Zuili Patil. This five-part series has been quite a ride, hasn't it? We've covered multiple topics, including what consulting is all about in today's world, what are the qualities that top consultants need to have, and even shared insights on how to break into the industry through various unique routes. Looking back, we've certainly covered a lot of ground. Now, here we are at the grand finale. And today, we are going to discuss something that every aspiring consultant needs to have in their toolkit: how to build a great consulting resume that really grabs attention. And to help us unpack that, we have with us Mr. Santosh Natarajan, Managing Director at Global Network Song, Customer Service Global Lead. In his over 20 years of experience as a leader and as a consultant, Santosh has seen just about every kind of resume out there. And he has coached countless professionals, helping them turn their experiences into impact. I'm really excited to hear his insights, and I'm sure you are too. Santosh, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the show.
Pleasure, Julie. Honored to be here and hope we make this finale a memorable one.
Absolutely. So let's dive right in. Most people think that building a resume is just about stacking up your skills and listing down all your experiences. But if someone really wants to break into consulting, it needs to be much more than a checklist, right?
Absolutely. I mean, from the individual's perspective, it is the first case study, first pitch, and it is also the personal reel that they are building upon, right? And we need to ensure it is also structured thinking and clarity is part of the resume.
Great insight right off the bat. And talking about resumes, you must have seen it all, right from fresh sheet formats, minimalist layouts, to wordy essays and whatnot. So, when you're flipping through so many applications, what really jumps out for you?
See, from resume's perspective, people spend hardly 10 seconds to 15 seconds, right? And within that span of 10 to 15 seconds, the individual needs to kind of demonstrate how they have kind of brought the value to the client. That is going to be critical factor from everyone's perspective.
Okay, so say if the goal is to show that you can deliver value for your clients, what's the magic trick to make that happen on your resume?
I'm a strong believer of two things. One is clarity and brevity, right? The best consulting resumes are clear, direct, and impact driven. No fluff, no rambling, just punchy statement that show exactly what you have accomplished. And in this process, we need to ensure in the resume, every word counts.
Great point. I really love the idea that every word needs to earn its place in the resume, shifting the focus from just listing things to proving business impact. Now that we've laid the foundation for what a resume should be about, my next question to you is, how can someone get started?
We have seen a lot of resumes, and more or less everything remains the same. One of the game changer that can accomplish the need is to follow a framework or methodology. I strongly recommend something called a STAR framework, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. There are multiple reasons why STAR framework is pretty much helpful. One thing that I kind of call out is primarily in terms of the real world business problems, how it addresses, right? When we look at it from the individual's perspective, what the individual did, why it mattered, and what is the value add difference that we bring to the table.
Exactly. It's about talking the consulting language by proving the why and the how behind every experience over generic descriptions. But can you tell me how exactly does it help in building a great consulting resume?
When you look into it, how do the individual kind of breaks the problem statement? And each of those problem statement is going to be an important element for any consultant. It's an important skill that they need to have.
But how so? How can you show that on your resume?
Precisely. I mean, when we deep dive into the task and actions perspective, the individual needs to kind of demonstrate the cross-functional capabilities, techno-functional capabilities, business process design, coupled with the industry narrative, supercharged by data and AI. That is going to be a key important element the individual needs to kind of highlight, and for which this is the type of skill set or the resume that actually lands in Accenture.
That's amazing. Now that we know how we can use the STAR framework to building a resume, can you tell us what are the other elements that really help in standout consulting resumes?
Absolutely. From my perspective, there are three things. One is a strong header, snappy summary, and also a clear formatting is going to be critical for me to look into the resume.
Talking about reinvention, Santosh, we've spoken about it quite a bit throughout the series. And at Accenture, we take pride in being true reinventors. So here's something I'm curious about. How can you tell from just a resume that someone has that true reinventor spirit?
It really boils down to telling a coherent story. The best resumes, together coupled with the experiences, what it calls out is how the individual has tackled the every challenges that they've gone through it, how they have embraced the change and delivered real client value.
Excellent point, Santosh. Now, before we wrap up, if you have to give one golden advice to someone working on their resume, what would it be?
As a consultant, one, the individual needs to have a structured thinking and clarity, able to break down the complex problem statements into multiple chunks so that we are addressing the overall business statement, coupled with individual needs to demonstrate the value as well. From the consultant's perspective, when we look into it, the individual needs to kind of demonstrate real world client problems. And in this process, what the candidate individually did it and why it mattered and how it made a difference as well, right? We need to kind of cut the fluffy stuff and no rambling. And we need to ensure what is the value that we are bringing to the client and how we measure it as well.
That's a great note to end on. Santosh, you've given us so much to think about. Thank you so much for sharing this final episode with us and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with great energy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Zuli and the team as well. And I hope people take best out of this episode as well. Thank you so much.
And for those tuning in, this was the final episode of Reinvent with Accenture, the Consulting Mindset series. But it's just the start of your own journey. We hope these lessons have truly helped you understand what consulting is all about today. May these lessons truly inspire you in building a great career in consulting that's as bold and as adaptable as you are. If you're someone who is ready to tackle big challenges, make a real difference, and keep reinventing, then Accenture is where you belong. Thank you so much for listening. Now get out there and create your own story. We can't wait to see what you'll do next.